Oftentimes, it's hard to see in the time, but like when something bad happens, like it's actually good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the worst thing that happened to you is the best thing, and you don't know it now, but you'll always look back and be like, oh, that was actually great.
What's crazy is when we were transitioning from private label to arbitrage, your YouTube videos is most of the content that we were consuming to figure out.
E-commerce is the greatest business opportunity of our generation.
What's up, people? Welcome to a episode of the Ecom Unlimited podcast. It's your boy Kaj, and today we are in Brickell, Miami. Just wrapped up the Miami Sellers Conference. The vibes are good. Here in person with the OG and the new kid on the block, Dylan Sawyer, Reezy Resells, the man himself. Guys, how you doing today?
Good. Great, man.
Yeah, man.
This weather is a little hot for me, but it ain't too bad. I wish I would have brought shorts though.
Yeah, that would have been a good move. When I come to Miami, I feel like I never pack pants. Like only shorts, only t-shirts, because I know I'm not gonna have to wear pants or anything like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's my first rodeo.
This is your first time in Miami?
No, it's not. I'm just stupid.
All right, guys. So yeah, like I said, we just wrapped up the Miami Sellers Conference. Let's just quickly, what are some takeaways that you had?
Yeah, so one of the big takeaways I had from the first presentation, actually, or for the first day, was Amazon Lit talking about the removal order fees, some of the storage fees, and how expensive those actually are. I was actually really surprised to see that taking out a small little unit of something could be $3, $4, $5 on each one, and for shoes it could be up to 15. Which blew my mind, because thinking of how many thousands of shoes I've removed, it's like, whoa, it's hard to really find information on those fees as well. Amazon really buries it in there. And another big takeaway is just like the importance of meeting up with other people, linking up with other sellers, and just making connections here. Like if you were not at this seller conference, you missed out, because there was a lot of good games shared, a lot of people shaking hands. I met Reezy, met you for the first time. It was an awesome event.
Yeah.
Basically a lot of what he said, my talk was about the influencer program. And so I was stoked to meet Cade and Trevin Peterson, who are also crushing it on I'm a baby compared to them. And so it's cool that we both spoke, and then he was able to adjust his speech to not really be redundant versus what I said. And so I learned a lot from him, because like I said, I'm a beginner, and I learned a few things. He was talking about doing comparison video reviews, and which is the math on that. I was like, oh wow, so you have a drill and you have a drill, and you can make a couple videos about two drills, but then you could compare this drill to that drill. But if you had a third drill, you can do this drill to that drill, this drill to this drill, this drill to that. Do you know what I mean? It just gets exponential. Wow. And I was like, oh damn. And there a couple other things too. They were talking about using their software tool to review the videos that you have to find the ones that you should make more videos for, because I was learning as I was going, so there's holes in my strategy or whatever. And then also just meeting everybody, you know what I mean, networking. And I gave a lot of people my phone number this time. I'll give you my number. You want my number?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Reezy's number is no.
Yeah. 209-83 Reezy. Call me. No, but because Instagram's cool and everything, but I feel it's just a little bit less personal. I'll follow you on Instagram too, but just yo, shoot me a text.
Yeah.
And meeting the software companies and actually taking time to look at the software, talk to people. I don't know, I feel my perspective is a little different, since I'm not, really an active Amazon seller anymore. I do sell, but obviously I'm the YouTube education guy or whatever. But and also just from not an Amazon perspective, but just seeing how well the conference went off. And I was there last year, and just seeing the growth, and just I'm super proud of Avery and Taylor. It's an official ass event. If you didn't come, you played yourself.
Yeah.
So question for you. You said you were giving out your number. If you give out your number to, let's just say, some random person who has an Android, and you get the text back and it's a green bubble,
don't do that to me.
Do you ghost? Do you say, sorry, let's take it back to Instagram? How does that, phone calls only? Like
Nah, it's all good. It doesn't bother me too much. To be honest, my brother has an Android, and so I deal with it like on a daily basis.
Okay.
And so it is what it is, but it is annoying. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. All right. So let's rewind the clock a little bit. So when did you first get into e-commerce and start selling physical products or services online?
All right. So before my daughter was born, a lot of you guys might not know, but I had a kid when I was 16 in high school. Dropped out in 10th grade, got married. I was selling on eBay before 2000.
Wow.
And
that's wild.
Before eBay, I was selling on Yahoo auctions. You probably don't even know about that.
No, I mean, this was before I was born.
Yeah, so
this was before I was
born. Wait, when were you born?
2005.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that's when I started selling on Amazon in 2000.
Wow, that's crazy.
Dang.
So Yahoo auctions was just like a shittier version of eBay auctions. I think it preceded eBay auctions. I'm not 100% sure, but we used to sell, me and my brother used to sell bootleg DVDs on Yahoo auctions, but not just straight bootleg DVDs. There were fan sets. So these are like serving a niche in the community by making a DVD set of something that doesn't have a DVD set. So back in the day, still today some, but like older cartoons, for example, like I was the first person to make a DVD set of the original Ninja Turtles.
No shot.
So we were torrenting them, and back then we had like 56K modems, so it took weeks to download all the episodes.
Yeah.
And I learned how to author DVDs to make like legit DVD menus, and we bought a thing where you could print on the DVDs.
Wow.
Back then, blank DVDs were like $3 a piece. It was pretty expensive. So it was like a 10 DVD set with cover art, and then we would sell it for like $200.
Wow.
And I would sell like 10 times a month. And then from there, we started building up more and more sets. Eventually, we got banned. I'm sorry, Mom, I got your Amazon or your Yahoo auctions shut down. We did that a little bit on eBay too. And then when that became, when we lost like one account, we're like, okay, we can't do that anymore. But we started selling like everything in the house that my mom would let us. Like my brother is a super tech nerd, and he had an old Gateway, it wasn't old at the time, but a Gateway computer, right? Like an all-in-one system. And if you came into his room and looked at his computer at one point, it was just like a circuit board screwed to a piece of wood with the screen. And I was like, dude, what the hell? And he's like, I sold the case. I didn't need it. It's like someone else had a broken case and would pay 50 or $100 for the new outer shell.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what about the speakers? And he's like, I use headphones. Sold the speakers, you know? And then like, eventually we sold our Nintendo 64, but like as a one-shot auction. Like, here's our 64 with all the games, everything, all bundle. And the person that bought it, their name was like, you know, like Video Games Are Us or something like that. So it made me go like, oh, he's a seller. And then I clicked on his name, and then I looked at what he was selling, and this was the first time I ever did any research.
Yeah.
And it was like, he sells a console, a power cord, a game, a controller. Yeah. And I started doing the math on the comps, and I was like, bro, he just tripled his money on this purchase from us. So that's how I learned how to break bulk. You know what I mean? And then after we ran out of stuff, we started buying stuff off eBay. Yeah. And then selling, but it's mostly like electronics and video games, things I knew about, you know? Right. And that was way early in like 2000. And eventually I started seeing people selling books like around 2004, 2005. Okay. I had never even heard of Amazon.
Right.
But when I found out they were selling on Amazon, I was like, what is Amazon?
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's when I got onto Amazon in 2005.
That's pretty wild. So you were reverse sourcing back then. He was reverse sourcing back in 2000, before I was born.
Before he was born. And then started selling books on Amazon in 2005. Yeah. When did you do your first FBA shipment? What year was that?
Less than a year from then.
Okay. So the FBA program was available even then?
Yeah, that was the first year. The year I started was the first year you could send stuff to FBA.
That's crazy.
Interesting. Wow.
So like I could have printed so hard. I just did. I mean, at the time I was working in a skate shop making like $750 every 2 weeks, and that was the most money I had ever made in my entire life. Right. Ever.
Yeah.
That's still like the last job I had. But we sold over 10,000 books our first year FBA.
Wow.
So I was like, I mean, I quit my job in like a month after starting.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then sold on Amazon, and then also got into the YouTube education space.
I didn't start YouTube until 2016.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, So selling without recording and teaching other people.
Yeah, for over a decade, I was just like, you know, lasagna. I was real G moving in silence. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't tell anybody, bro. I didn't have an abundance mindset. So I was like, I'm telling you, like, homies of mine would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't tell you."
Wow.
I'm serious.
Wow.
Like, and then like the few that I did tell, I damn near made them sign a contract because I'm like, "Bro, you better not fucking tell anybody."
Right. Because
I'm gonna put you on,
Right.
but if you leak this information, you will be excommunicated.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, and you started selling in high school. I mean, how old are you now?
Earlier than that, middle school actually. So I was in like probably 7th grade when
Seventh grade.
first sold a product online.
And you're in 11th grade now?
So now I would have been graduated. Would have been my first year of college, but I didn't even finish high school.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I started Amazon 3 years ago.
Okay.
And around that time was when I started taking things like very seriously, and we were doing a very high volume. I was selling shoes before then. And with shoes, it's like you can only take it to a certain point, and the market was in a decline, and I could just kind of see that. And a few of my friends were getting into Amazon, and they showed me. They're like, it was a boring old Nike shoe. It was the Nike Monarchs. It was the dad shoe. And they're like, these are selling 7,000 times a month. I'm like, what am I doing selling on StockX and Go when all the volume is on Amazon?
That's great. So as a middle,
I love that, man.
How did you even find out about it as a middle schooler? Was a friend doing it?
With shoes, it was kind of common knowledge that like Yeezys, Jordans, like you could sell them for higher than what you bought them for if you're able to get them for the retail price. I always just kind of liked shoes.
Okay.
And at first it was just like, I want to get this pair of Yeezys, but I want to be able to flip a couple pairs extra, keep some cash, get my pair I wanted to wear personally, and have some for the next release. And that's how it started. So that was in December 2017.
That's how it always starts.
Exactly, yeah.
You're just trying to fund your own addiction.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then it was Supreme after that.
Okay.
It was weekly drops, but I was only able to get like 1 to 2 items every week, and it just like wasn't really scalable.
That's such a good point because I was never into hype shoes. Like, I mean, I'm a skateboarder, so I feel like I should kind of be into like the SBs or whatever, the Dunks, like whatever. But like, I'm a simple man. I just don't care. And so like, I didn't come from that world, but obviously I learned about shoes. And I regularly, like, I'll post sales or something like blah, blah, blah. I sold these shoes, and like all the sneakerheads are in the comments like, yeah, right. Those are bricks, brick emoji. That shit doesn't sell. And I'm just like, you guys are idiots. There's way more soccer mom shoes being sold than the hype fucking shoes that you're after.
I'm glad you brought that up because bricks were huge for me. And even on StockX and GOAT, we were selling a lot of like just everyday shoes, Air Forces, Air Maxes, stuff like that. And that's where I learned a lot of strategies that translated really well into Amazon OA. So we were using, even all the way back then, discounted gift cards, coupons, all these extensions, top cashback. I've had my top cashback account for probably 5 years.
Wow.
So
how much cashback do you think you've made?
So on Lifetime. Top cashback, it's 55,000. On
cashback,
on Rakuten, it's I think 30,000. So it's up there. I know someone who doesn't even do Amazon, only from sneakers and stuff, who has an account that has 500K in cashback on top cashback.
Holy,
which is crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Cashback just from shopping.
Yep. Literally just spending money, free money back.
Okay, so you did the sneaker stuff.
Yep.
And then you found out about Amazon through a friend, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it was from a couple of the guys who I was selling sneakers a lot with. Okay. And they were all doing bricks as well. And they just saw
For people who aren't sneakerheads, a brick is
a brick is a shoe that is not like a hyped up, popular shoe. It doesn't resale for over the retail value, usually.
Okay.
Usually you have to buy it on discount and sell it for close to the retail price or maybe slightly above it. But it's not like something where you get it on release day for $100 and sell it for $250. It's something where it's been sitting on the shelves for 6 months, so they put it 50% off, and then you can buy it and sell it for like 20-30% margin.
Yeah, it's kind of like a misnomer, right? Because like the term brick originates to mean you bought shit that won't sell.
Exactly.
Right.
But these are selling in actually high volume. They're just not, your Yeezys or your Dunks or whatever.
Exactly.
So then you got into online arbitrage.
Yep.
Scaled that to the moon, and then you were like, you know what? I'm just not even finishing high school. I'm just going to sell stuff on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So my parents kind of already knew I wasn't going to college after, I think maybe even before, I think it was right when I started Amazon. They kind of understood like, okay, you've done really well with the sneaker model. You're doing really well on Amazon. Like, you probably don't need to go to college.
And so what does really well mean?
So like doing 6-figure revenue months and good profit, like paying taxes, like really managing the company, like having employees coming over to the house. And when they realized like high school probably I wasn't going to finish, that was when I had my warehouse. And I was working, it was fully remote because it was after COVID or the pandemic. And
school was remote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was in the warehouse all day, didn't have to go to school really. And I would just have like one computer with my class on, and I would just be like in the other room, just like packing items and just like not even paying attention at all. And honestly, the school even somewhat recommended it. They were like, honestly, you should probably just pursue a GED. That's what they said. I was like, I'm not complaining with that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the school, man.
Shout out to the school.
Yeah.
Game recognizes
Yeah,
game.
the pandemic was crazy as far as like how it affected like everything or like school, you know, like because you know, I had Austin was like my intern at that time, and he was still in high school. And he would come to work with me, and he would do shit like change his profile picture to like the picture that happens when your camera's fucked up. And it's like connection error. And he would like just make that his picture and then just mute and then just be like, oh, my camera wasn't working.
That's funny. I mean, even for me, COVID lockdown was when I really got proof of concept of selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like I'd been dabbling a little bit since 2017. And then 2020, a private label product that we had took off. And that's when I was like, oh, you can like actually turn this into a business. And then 2021 is when I really started taking it seriously.
Do you still sell that private label product?
No, I would, but with COVID lockdown and the global supply chain imploding, it was one of the components of the product was lumber, which the cost of that 4x'd, and then shipping from China to the US 4x. So it went from making 20% margin to losing what I'm paying for it.
Wow.
So it's just that, and that's what forced us to pivot into arbitrage.
Okay.
Because we would have kept doing that product and then maybe like try to expand that brand, do a similar kind of product, and keep growing the PL side of things. But then it just wasn't profitable.
Was that a good thing, ultimately?
Yeah, I wish we had started with arbitrage. If we had started with arbitrage, we would be like 5x what we are right now. Because you can because the other difference between arbitrage and private label is your cash flow cycle is so much quicker.
Yeah.
When you're flipping stuff, you can buy something, sell it, and get paid out in 30 to 45 days if you're moving quick. And if you're doing FBM, less than 30 days.
Yeah.
But with private label, it's like you gotta send a wire to the manufacturer, it takes them 30 days to make it, and then it takes another 30 days to get from China to the US, and then it takes another 30 days, depending on how much inventory you bought, to sell through enough of it to even break even. So your cash flow cycle at best is 75 to 90 days. So you can really only do, and I mean, we had limited capital, we were bootstrapped.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was like, you can only turn your inventory maybe 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Or with arbitrage, you can turn your inventory 8 to 10 if you're moving super aggressive. So,
I mean, you know that now, but like, how did that feel at the time?
well, at the time, I wasn't even really thinking about it. It was kind of just me. And so my business partner, Josh, who unfortunately is not here, he had to go back to PA. We were just trying to figure out how to keep the business alive and what pivot we were going to make, because we weren't going to let that stop us from continuing, because we had the proof of concept.
Right.
We knew we were on something. So it was just figuring out what pivot are we going to make just to keep the ship moving. And that's what we did.
Yeah. I think oftentimes, you know, it's hard to see in the time, but like when something bad happens, like it's actually good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the worst thing that happened to you is the best thing, you know, and you don't know it now, but you'll always look back and be like, oh, that was actually great. I'm really glad that terrible thing happened.
And what's crazy is when we were transitioning from private label to arbitrage, your YouTube videos is most of the content that we were consuming to figure out how to do, like, we started actually just going to Goodwills and flipping some stuff on eBay and then doing retail arbitrage, going into stores. And then I remember even trying to figure out how to do an FBA shipment, watching one of your videos, you know, trying to figure out how to set something. So yeah.
So with private label, you must have learned a lot of valuable skills that translate well into wholesale specifically. 100%. Arbitrage, I feel like not as much, but private label and wholesale kind of go hand in hand. So what are some of those things that you've learned?
Yeah, so how to build a listing and how to run ads.
That's huge.
Right? Because most people don't know how to do that because they just never had to do it.
I've never had to do it.
Yeah, but for private label, I mean, every single day I was looking at our ad campaigns, adjusting bids, you know, maybe adding or taking out keywords.
Yeah.
And I kind of liken it to, it's almost as important as repricing is in an arbitrage business, because you got to buy good inventory and then you got to sell good inventory. But you have to make sure it's selling, because if you buy it and you're not monitoring it, it might not sell. And so in arbitrage, that is repricing, making sure you're winning the buy box. In private label, it's making sure that your ads are optimized. And so now, as we're doing more wholesale brand direct exclusive, it's kind of like managing a brand the same way that we would be managing our own private label brand. So running some ads for them, depending on the brand, fixing their listings. Like, it's very easy for me to be like, that is a terrible listing because I've built a good one. And I know what a listing needs from an image perspective and the pictures, as well as the title, the description, the bullet points, the A+ content. So yeah, even though I think we would have been bigger if we started arbitrage, at the end of the day, that private label experience is super helpful for where we are now.
Yeah, that's a lot of good knowledge. So now I'm guessing you're mainly focusing on brand direct, trying to get exclusive.
100%.
So that translates perfectly.
100%. Yeah. And it's a competitive edge.
Yeah,
it's a competitive
definitely.
edge,
Because I can say that, like, I can help you out with your listing, but I really haven't done it before. So having that experience is next level. That's very good.
Yeah, I mean, even as long as you know how to get it started, figure it out, right?
Exactly.
Because you at least know what it should look like. But I'll do a consultation with people, and I'm kind of in your boat too. I could make a great listing, but it'd probably take me 20 times as long as it would take you. Yeah. But I know what a great listing looks like.
Right.
Whereas most people will make a listing and be like, I don't know why it's selling. They got 4 shitty pictures, terrible like bullets that don't really like extol the features, you know, or like the problem solving or whatever, and then like there's just no meat to the page. You know what I mean? Like I don't think most people read that or really look at any of it, but like when you see a product detail page, you want to like scroll a little bit and you know have some juice there.
Video.
Get some videos on there, video advertising.
Yeah, that's what we've been trained to know, like what a good listing is.
Exactly. All right, so transitioning a little bit. For the person who's looking to get into e-commerce, whether they want to sell stuff online or they're like the Amazon influencer program, as the OG in the space, what's your advice to that person on how to get started?
I think you should sell some stuff from your house on eBay. I mean, sell what you can on Amazon, but it's a free, easy way to start, and you're going to learn a lot of stuff you need to know. And most importantly, if you don't push through and you don't make it work, like no harm, no foul. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think they want to get into this business, and then they're like, I hate packing boxes.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Or I hate taking photos or creating listings or like whatever. And it's just like, if you can't sell $500 worth of shit on eBay, you're never going to make it on Amazon.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So, I mean, everyone's different, but I just feel like, taste it, you know, dip your toe in the pool, check the temperature first before you just trying to dive in and find out you can't even swim.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What's your advice to that person?
So honestly, that's a really good perspective, and I haven't heard people really advocating towards starting with eBay and just trying to flip a few household things. So for Amazon specifically, I would definitely start with retail arbitrage. That's really the best way to start, especially if you want to turn your capital the quickest and mix in some FBM in there. You can literally buy a product at like a Nike outlet, list it before you leave the store, and by the time you get home, it can be sold. Yeah. So there's just no other model on Amazon where you can flip your cash that quickly.
Right.
So that's what I recommend for beginners. So you can go to like Nike, Marshalls, grocery outlet, places like that are perfect to start.
I mean, I think that is good advice, but I do think a lot of people, that might be out of reach for some people because they're not ungated in those brands.
I was gonna say, because I know a lot of people who've wanted to get into Amazon, and like either they couldn't get their account open or they get declined once on an ungate and then they just completely give up. So once, literally once. Yeah. So having them start with eBay and like get a feel for everything makes a ton of sense. Yeah. That's a really good approach.
But like, I like what you said too, and because, you know, and I kind of like didn't really think of it, but like, I think, and I've said it a gazillion times, but like selling used books on Amazon, I think that is like the stepchild of eBay integration into Amazon. So it's like, and that's where I like cut my teeth on Amazon. I was an eBay seller that started selling on Amazon, but with used books, and I would get used books at thrift stores where I would also get all kinds of other crap, you know, like whatever that you're going to sell on eBay. but you could sell the books on Amazon, and they cost like $1, $2. So when things go wrong, throw them away.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
If you have 1,000 pairs of shoes, that's 40 grand
Right.
of inventory.
Yeah.
You have to actually like actively manage that, right? So, but through selling used books, whether you want to sell used books or not, it's just like if you sell 100 used books on Amazon, you will know so much more about Amazon than when you started, and that will cost you like $100.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people don't have the money to invest in a course. Because my perspective is that, like, sure, courses are great, but everybody could do this, and it's not just, you know, the people who can't afford a course, the people who are check to check and don't have an extra $100 a month, you could still do this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder. You might have to give up your Starbucks, you know, so you could buy a few books to flip on Amazon. But if you want it, you know, you can figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, so a person just listened to that and they're like, I already don't like it. I don't want to pack boxes. I don't want to flip books. Give me the 45-second pitch on the Amazon influencer program.
It's honestly an infinite money glitch in real life. I've never seen anything. It's like, it's easier than selling weed on a college campus.
So what is the Amazon influencer program? Because a lot of people don't know about
So
it.
I didn't even know what it was until the presentation.
Oh, that's sick. So the Amazon influencer program is UGC, which is user-generated content, and you upload videos to Amazon's platform and for free, and you link them to products. So if I was to, for example, like review this frame, if it's listed on Amazon, you can make a review video about it, and I would say like, oh, I really love these frames, the way they feel, the way they accentuate my features, the hinges are strong, I've had them for a year, they're not broken, blah, 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 whatever. 3 minutes or less to make this video, no edits, one take, chop it, throw it on there, and then when people buy that, it puts the video of the review you made on the Amazon product detail page in the top carousel where the product images are. I mean, you're a private label seller, so you know Amazon realized that UGC converts sales better.
100%.
So if you're a private label seller, you want UGC 100%. On your page, and they put it in the top carousel. So when you're swiping through the photos and you get to the end and there's a video, anything after the first video can be an influencer video. And when people buy that item, we make a commission, so anywhere from 2 to 4%. So if it's a $20 item, I might make 50 cents, but I might sell it every single day, or 5 some days. Or, you know, I bought my daughter a trampoline for Christmas. That was like $500. When that sells, because I did do a review on it, better believe it, I make $15. And so it's like
making one 60-second video.
Right, and so just to do the math on it, it's like an average of like somewhere between $2 and $5 monthly recurring revenue per video. So mine's like right at $350. So I have 100 videos and I'm doing 300 to 350 in payouts every month from 10 hours of total work is what it took to make 100 videos and upload them.
Good.
Wow.
It's, like you
Which
said,
is
it's
insane.
A money glitch.
Yeah.
It's actually the closest thing to passive income once you do it. Yeah.
And the videos are permanent. It stays up there. It's not like they're gonna disappear.
Right, and as long as those products are selling, you know,
yeah.
it's kind of crazy.
So you started with just items in your house, I'm guessing?
Yeah, just to shop in my house the same way you would start selling on eBay.
And that's the
or
other
Amazon.
great thing, because you don't have to worry about even buying products to get started.
There's
Literally,
zero cost to
just
start.
go to your home, whatever's in your house.
Yep.
And if you don't have good stuff in your house, just knock on your neighbor's house.
Go to
their
your
house.
family's house,
Yeah.
go to an Airbnb, review those products. People were reviewing products at the conference. The projector, the clicker, the clicker I reviewed in my presentation, you know, the water dispenser, you know, I made a joke about it and I didn't do it, but I'm kind of bummed out I didn't. The Dyson hand dryer in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how much do you think those cost?
Yeah.
Like 500?
Probably.
500.
A lot.
And
And
there's
that'll
probably
sell a lot.
hella places buying those for their bathrooms.
Right.
Come on, man.
We should go back. We should go back.
We should go back.
All right, gentlemen. This has been great. I could chop it up with you guys all day. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your insight.
Likewise.
We will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.